Right. All right, guys. My name is Dan. Welcome back to the channel. So today we have a really good interview for you guys. Actually, I didn't catch your name, Glenn, right?
Yep.
Your name is Glenn. Okay. We have Glenn here on the channel, and he is a OMI token holder, has quite a bit of OMI, and I have verified a good portion of his portfolio here. He doesn't want to disclose the exact amount. I think that's fine. It's just for privacy purposes, but I have verified a large segment of his portfolio here. So, Glenn, welcome to the channel.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I guess just to start off real quick, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I live in North Carolina, married, have two fairly young kids, 9 and 7. I'm a fairly new crypto investor. Started roughly mid last year and ran across OMI and, definitely felt really confident about it, which is kind of why I've been accumulating over time.
Okay. When did you hear about OMI and Akomi and stuff like that?
So it was right around early February. When I got into crypto, I joined a bunch of different, crypto trading groups, and one of the groups had mentioned OMI, and it was right around, I think 0006, 0007 when I found out about it. My first purchase was actually on Valentine's Day, because my wife and I went out to dinner, and then I came back, and that was my first purchase. I think it was right around 0007 or 0008.
Okay. Tell us a little about that trading group. Was it like a Telegram group?
Yeah, there's just a bunch that I'm a member of that I joined. So some of them I'm fairly active. Don't really specifically want to say which one because I'm fairly active in that group now.
Okay.
I feel like it's overcrowded as is. But they've definitely given some good gems, some good advice.
Okay, cool. So I guess tell us a little bit about what you kind of do for a living, because obviously to amass kind of the portfolio you've had to make some smart investment decisions. So tell us about kind of your career and your life and how you got to this position.
Sure. So I started out in IT. So I was a network engineer for a company in RTP in North Carolina, and then kind of moved up to management positions, and actually ended up managing a fairly large voice over IP team in corporate IT for Cisco Systems. And I left that job roughly 5 years ago to kind of start my own business or businesses. And I had a sign company for a few years. So I was doing outdoor signs, indoor signs, that kind of led into vehicle wraps. So I'm going like a million miles an hour here, but that basically is, if you're to ask me what my main source of income is right now, it would be my automotive styling business. So we do vehicle wraps, we do window tint, and we also do paint protection film. We've got accounts with Porsche, with Tesla. Paint protection film is the clear film that goes over vehicles to prevent the vehicles from getting rock chips and scratches. So that's the primary business that I'm operating. Got involved with investment real estate maybe, I guess about 16, 17 years ago. We bought our first rental property. I remember it was a HUD foreclosure. $47,500 was the purchase price, and we had to get my brother and sister-in-law to co-sign for that loan because we couldn't do it on our own. But from there, we had purchased multiple quadruplexes, multi-unit properties, and just invested. And that was all while I was in corporate, so it was fairly easy to get a loan because the salaries were pretty decent. And then I've always had side hustles ever since I can remember. From when I was younger, doing cutting lawns, in high school, installing mod chips into PlayStations so people could play copied games, um, and just whatever side hustle opportunity came up, I've pretty much done it. I think anyone that has tried to start a bunch of businesses or tried a bunch of side hustles, um, is not something that I seek to. It's not something that I try to look for. It just kind of happens. And 15, 20 years down the road, there's just so much I've done, so much I've failed at. For the most part, that's kind of where I amassed the money that I used to pick up some OMI.
Gotcha. I do want to talk about the real estate here in a bit, but I also, what made you become an entrepreneur? Because I realize, like, especially in the United States, people have an employee mentality, and you go to other parts of the world, and basically it's almost impossible to make it
Yeah.
just as an employee. So you have to start your own business. So how did you kind of learn entrepreneurship, and how did you get into it?
So I think that came from my parents. So my dad had his own business. He was a mechanic. He was always the one that was, the hard worker. Both of my parents work hard, but my mom, I think, is truly where I got my entrepreneurship from. She always had some sort of side hustle going on, from selling Beanie Babies to just working a second job, buying stuff low, selling high. They started in rental properties when I was younger, so we would always go out, we'd mow the lawn. Whenever there's a problem with the HVAC, we'd switch out whatever needed to be switched out, a capacitor, a fan, sometimes the whole HVAC system. So the hustle definitely came from my parents, and I think that just continued on throughout my life. My wife, she's special for putting up with me. There's just so many different things that I've done. When I was in corporate, when I was at Cisco, I was really into CNC machines. I don't know if you know what one is, but it's basically a woodworking router that's controlled by a computer, 3-axis. I built my first one just because I like the technology. I like computer aided machining. And then I started to do kind of like signs, make some signs for local sign companies. Then they started to ask for larger signs. So I had a basement at the time, convinced my wife to let me buy a CNC router. And that router was, I think we paid right around $48,000 for it.
Oh, wow.
And,
Wow.
because I was confident that I could, through the jobs that I was getting through these various sign companies, essentially pay for the machine and be profitable. So imagine taking a vehicle down a steep hill into your basement. Like, I literally had to take the sliding glass door off, widen the space, and put a bigger door just because I needed to get that machine in my basement. Looking back at it now, I wish I took some videos, but she's been through a lot with all my different ventures, for sure.
Gotcha. So I guess, how did you pivot into real estate? I guess that must have been, by extension, kind of like a expansion of your side hustle, just to do real estate on the side.
Yeah. So my parents were in the rental properties fairly early on. I remember they bought a triplex, and I think we used an agent, and I saw that the agent made, I think at that time it was like around $3,000 or $4,000 on the commission, because I'd look over the HUD statement. I was like, you know what? This person didn't really do too much. How hard is it to get a license? So I think it was 17 or 18, and I got my real estate license. I never did anything with it until, right around maybe 2022. And then I've just kept it ever since. And then I don't do general brokerage today, but for all my own real estate investments, obviously I either list it myself, sell it myself, and it's paid for itself multiple times over, for sure.
Gotcha. So you mentioned kind of to me privately that you're kind of selling a property, or you've sold some property already. Are you trying to get out, or are you just selling some bad ones, or just trying to capture that appreciation?
Yeah, capture the appreciation. At one point we had over 20 doors essentially,
Okay.
and once you get over 12 doors, something's always broken, especially in the properties that I owned. Most of them were. Anyways, they were getting aged. Now is a great time to sell multifamily properties. You basically list it, you get 15 offers within the next day, and you can just pick the best one. So I needed new roofs, I needed new decks, and honestly, just really tired of being a landlord. Um, we are frugal enough where we don't want to spend the property management fee, so we manage it ourselves from, you know, and you get calls in the middle of the night, and it's been like that for, gosh, I guess 12, 15 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Couldn't. Yeah, I wanted to kind of get into real estate. So a couple of years ago, I bought a couple properties, moved out of my house and got another house and turned that
Mhm.
into a rental, bought one out of state. And it just like I had one property that I was getting calls, or not me personally, but I would get calls like, okay, you need to fix this. This is going to cost 1,000 to fix this. They're
Yep.
kind of older properties. And I mean, even having a property manager do it, that wasn't stressful enough for me. So I can't imagine actually taking the calls yourself. Like that'd be so frustrating.
Yeah, yeah, and you get calls, you get used to it, but I'm just tired of it. And then this wonderful thing called crypto happened, a year and a half ago, and it's been kind of a wild ride. And I, yeah, I'm not looking to get back into real estate anytime soon.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I don't think I would either, because like even to buy another property, I feel like everything's overvalued. At least in my market, it's
Hmm.
the cash flow is just not the same as it was even last year. I mean, I don't know why you would buy some of these properties. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with it.
Yeah, I thought the same thing for the people that we sold, or companies that we sold the properties to recently, because we sold multiple this year. Like the prices that they're paying and the amount of work that they have to do, I just don't understand how the numbers work.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, unless they're refurbishing the house or something, but you still have to put quite a bit of money in, and you already paid a lot of money for the house anyways. I don't know how that math
yeah.
works out,
The,
but
the only thing that makes sense to me is maybe they just have money sitting there, right? So it is better to have an appreciating asset that is bringing in, steady monthly rent. Maybe that makes sense, but I don't have that kind of money sitting around, at least yet.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, so you sold some properties, and
Hmm.
then how did Omi kind of come into play here? Like, how did you get your money into Omi at that point? I guess.
My initial purchases into Omi were just from savings or from various other crypto that I was in. So, I would make profit on, some other altcoin, and I would just pick up Omi. I look back at Big Forex, and I think there's pages. It's like over 400 transactions, I think, of
Oh, wow.
picking up Omi. And most of that was picked up between 0.008 and 0.003.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's about the same for me. I mean, because I first made my entry right around like I think it was 0.007880,
Hmm.
and I picked up a bunch actually at the 3.0 type level.
Hmm.
Some at like 2.0, but
Yeah.
that's where the bulk of my purchases are as well. So
Yeah. Have you cashed out any at all, or you held?
I haven't sold anything. Yeah, I've only
So,
been accumulating. Yeah.
yeah.
I've kind of kept. I have a little bit of money laying aside still, but I don't know if I should put the rest into Omi at this point or do other projects, because there's other tokens I'm interested in as well. I've talked about it briefly, like Alluvium or like Money. But
Yeah, I put some in Amani. I think I watched a video from Kay, and
yeah,
he
yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
about it. So I was like, you know what? Let me just put a little in there. But I did sell some of my initial stack when it hit 0.098. That was my only sale. and basically took that out and bought my wife something nice. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Uh, so I guess what is your vision for Omi? Like, what makes you want to put so much money into Omi versus maybe something else? Stocks, other crypto.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, kind of when we were chatting, I'm fairly new to crypto, right? And I'm even fairly new to investing. You know, in corporate, you have 401k, you put it in a mutual fund, standard stuff. Nothing that I really need to look into, other than, all right, well, what fund is doing well. When I initially saw Omi, and this is going to be an answer that most people give, it was Alfred Kahn. It was the team, but mainly it was just the overall strategy. This was even before understanding like the whole Vivaverse. Um, I'm a longtime Gary V listener. A lot of people don't like him, but he does have some good content, and he's constantly droning on about um, leveraging IP, right? Using existing nostalgic brands. And when I saw this for Omi and it was like, all right, it's 0.0007 or 0008, I was like, you know what, look, and I just, took some profit on a few coins. Let me just transition that profit over to there. And then it shot up to, what was the previous all time high? 01013, something like that.
Yeah, 1.3, I think.
Yeah. So that got me excited. I sold at the right time, right around 0098, mainly because my trading group said this is kind of, your target. I think it was target 3 or target 4. So I sold a good chunk. And then, so it was just perfect timing. And just lucky. And it's bad because I've told so many people about this, family members, friends, and many friends got in right around that 1 cent mark. And I felt bad when everything started to go down. And I was like, there's only one thing you can do. You can either take the loss or you can dollar cost average. And that's what some of them did. Others did not, and they're just holding. So I feel confident their investment is going to be fine. So it'll be all good.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually just talking to a friend today. He lives in Canada, but he's kind of getting into crypto. He's done some things, but I kind of didn't even. He's like, "What's this Omi token that that you've been talking about a little bit on your channel?" And I kind of didn't even want to tell him too much because I'm afraid that if I tell him that and it takes a big hit, we go to like 3-0 again, that he'd be pissed at me or something because it can
Yeah,
happen, right?
it
It's
can. Yeah.
possible. And it's a friendship I don't want to lose over something about money. That's always sad to do that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so, price wise, where do you see the token going this year? Are you kind of up to date on like the AMA stuff, like the most recent like news and
Not
things
as
like that?
much as I should be.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, I follow your channel, and I like your prediction, 2 to 5 cents.
Uh-huh.
I just, and I don't really understand technical analysis. Trying to learn a little bit here and there, but whenever I hear you speak around that 2 to 5 cent range, I don't know how else to say it. It just kind of feels right to me.
Yeah.
So I think 2 to 5 cents is where we're going to be at by the end of the year. That's if everything is on time. Long term, I'm a believer it can hit $1. I just don't know how long. Maybe it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
Those that are saying $10, I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but it's just it's a long shot.
Yeah. I think $10 is like, I mean, I've talked to Cavell about it a little bit, and publicly, at least that's what he says he believes in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that's because I've kind of done some modeling and just basic stuff. That's just kind of a guess, right? But
Yeah,
it's like they'd have to burn so many tokens. I feel like they'd have to burn 90% of the tokens to even have a chance of hitting $10.
exactly.
And I don't know. And also, I can't predict the future. I don't know what they have in store for us, but it's just
Yeah,
kind of a long shot there. So,
yeah,
so I guess your trading group told you to sell Omi, and you sold at 9.8. That's incredible. That's a good
yeah,
call.
yeah. It's a pretty good call. I think the targets were sell like 20% at 7.5, and then the next target was 9.8, and then after that it was 1.6, I think. Obviously, it didn't get to 1.6, but you know, I sold about 20% of the OMI that I was holding at that 9.8 range, and it was it was enough to to essentially get my wife a car, and it does have Ecomi on the license plate. So that's the one, that's the one purchase I made from crypto, at least from OMI.
Are you still receiving advice in terms of from that trading group in regards to OMI token?
No, it's actually gone kind of it's just gone kind of dark. They haven't really said too much about it. There haven't really been any other predictions. They're on to other projects.
Okay, so they jump around then, I guess.
Yeah, a bunch of different projects. Yeah, for sure.
Did you, you don't have to tell me anything that's private or anything, but did you
Yeah,
pay money or anything to get access to the group, or you just kind of
yeah,
stumble upon it, or?
yeah. So I'm a member of about 3 different paid crypto groups right now, and it has. I just feel like it's kind of accelerate my learning. It forces me to get into different projects on different chains. There's just so much to learn, and I love crypto so much because I think it fits with my personality. I like to tinker, I like to mess around, I like to figure things out. So, through these various groups, they at least give you targets to aspire to, or to they give you a plan. So some are better than others, but OMI for sure is a good one that I found through a group.
So I guess I'm always really hesitant to spend money on something that's not like very concrete, like you're
Mhm.
not sure what the benefit's going to be. It could be really good, it could be like bad.
Yeah.
So what made you decide, like, hey, I'm going to pay a little bit of money, I'm going to take a chance and then do this?
Yeah, so this specific group has kind of a free channel, and I followed it for a few months, and I just followed, signals that were put out by the group. I was able to make enough money to essentially pay for, a membership. So I was like, let me give it a try for a month or two. I did, and it just so happens that first month that I joined was OMI,
Oh, that's
and a couple
amazing.
other projects. So, just that one little signal that I would have most likely never even found out about, it paid for itself multiple times over.
Yeah. Would you recommend to the viewer on the channel, the average person, that, hey, you should consider maybe paying for something like that, or is that something that's just a risk you took, or?
It's just a risk that I took. When I got into vehicle wrapping, in my business, right? I just I sought out who the best vehicle wrap training person was in the world, and I went to go train with that person. I just believe in paying for learning from people who have that experience, right?
Okay.
Obviously, you have to feel comfortable with what group you're working with. That's why I'm not really going to recommend anyone. Just check the group out, feel them out. If they got a free channel and you start following their advice and you're making money, maybe it's worth it for you to pay a little money every month to get their advice. Because when I started, like, all I knew was like Coinbase. That was it. And then I jumped into this group and I was like, all right, what do you mean I got to open up a Bitforex account? And then back then Coinbase didn't have USDT, so you had to buy ETH, then transfer it over. And it's just I learned a whole lot just by touching a bunch of different projects.
Gotcha. Okay. So what do you plan on doing with your investment you have now? What's your strategy going forward? Are you going to take profit at certain levels? You're going to hold it, or?
It's a moving target. I keep going back and forth in my mind with what I'm going to do. Right, targets in my mind are 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents. I think it'll be kind of a scaled approach. I'll do a certain percentage at 2 cents, 5 cents. But, I wasn't in crypto, pre 2000, or I guess after 2017. I guess everyone calls it the crypto winter.
Yeah.
Many people say that it doesn't matter what coin it is, doesn't matter what asset it is. Like when the crypto winter happens, everything's going to tank. And that has me scared a bit. So, I don't know how to feel about that because I haven't experienced it. What do you think about it?
Crypto winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had dabbled a lot in various cryptos, mostly like Bitcoin and like Ethereum and stuff like that. But I kind of, after the winter, I didn't even know it was called like the crypto winter because I was just tracking the price and I was like, okay, if I ever see this thing go back up to like 19,000, I might consider getting back in. And I'd always check the price every couple months and it's like going down. And I think the lowest I ever saw it was like 3,000 or something like that, or maybe it was a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of gave up on it. I'm like, I'm done with crypto. I did my thing. It's never going to go back up to 19,000. Then that's it. And then boom, all this happened. And I really started to get back into it when it started pumping. And I got back in January this year. So yeah, that's my experience with it. I don't know if we'll have a crypto winter again. I think there's a lot of stuff that's happening now. If you look at Bitcoin, that's really extraordinary. Years ago, we never would have thought that investment firms would get into Bitcoin, that Bitcoin would be a national currency, that companies would actually buy it and put it on their balance sheet. I think there's so many things that are extraordinary happening that I just don't foresee us having a crypto winter that happens even going into 2022. I mean, I think something would have to happen with the broader market in order for that to happen. And I don't even see that happening actually in 2022.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with Bitcoin potentially becoming an ETF, that's going to be huge. El Salvador, I mean, you're right. MicroStrategy, there's so many different things that are present now that weren't then. China is gonna, every few months ban crypto. So that's just the FUD that people need to get past. So my goals around crypto are just to continue to educate myself. Realize how lucky I was to find OMI so early, which I think we're all still early. I even participated in, some of the meme coins, and, the gains from those were just completely ridiculous. Just so lucky. And I coined those, my lottery coins. Let's just throw a few $100s into there and see what happens. Right around the time that I bought OMI was the same time I picked up Shiba. So put $400 into Shiba just because it was $400, and that afforded me 22 billion shares. And just ridiculous gains, which honestly all went into OMI.
Do you mind sharing a little bit about that? Because, for me, I think I'm not that smart. Like Shiba Inu has too many zeros.
Yep.
So you put $400. Okay, that's fine. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
What was your return with that on your money?
So $400. Once it reached 5,000, or once it reached from 400, once it reached a $12,000 profit, I cashed out 6,000. I went and I was over the moon. Right, it was like nuts. So I was sitting with 11 billion left, and that 11 billion went up to around 85,000. And I was like, you know what, this is it. This is the end. Let me just cash it out. And I essentially took almost all of it out at that point. Had I held my original $400 worth of coins and just luckily sold at the top, I think it would have been around, I think it was going to be right around 670,000 from a $400 investment. It was
$670,000.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's crazy.
It's just completely insane. And then all the coins around that time, Akita, there's just so many different coins that I jumped into. During that time, it didn't matter what I put it in, it was just going up. So I realized my entry into crypto, was just really fortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like that strategy because I've noticed that FOMO can really damage you, cause you to make irrational decisions. But one good way to kind of not FOMO in is just put a little bit. I think
Mhm.
$400 is okay. People blow $400 in a weekend doing stupid stuff. So if you
Yep.
just put $400, I mean that you probably won't FOMO in. If it goes down, it's like who cares? You'll just make a little bit more money later. So I mean that paid off big for you. That's just I
Yeah.
can't believe that return there.
Yeah. It's crazy. There's but there are so many other meme coins that I got into where I just completely lost the money. It was a rug pull, like what happened, and then you end up with 30 or 40 different altcoins in your MetaMask, and you're like, I don't even remember buying this, right? So my organization skills around crypto are definitely need to be improved.
Sure. Yeah. Do you use anything for taxes? Because I imagine that's like, I mean,
It,
difficult.
it's difficult. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's difficult. In a previous life, I was really into spreadsheets, and people would always come to me to build spreadsheets. So I've got something built out, but keeping up with it is a chore in itself. But next year should be interesting for sure.
Are you invested in any other tokens that
I,
like following the same strategy that you did before with the Sheeb?
Yeah, the handful of those lottery coins, which is what I call them, and then several other projects that these various groups have recommended. So my largest by far investment is Omi. The next one would probably be a company called Sovereign. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that token, but it is the first decentralized finance platform built on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Interesting. I'll have to take a look at that.
Layer 2, Sovereign, Sovryn.
Okay. Yeah. I'll take a look at that. So, so kind of what you did is you kind of bought early, you took a little bit of profit and then you
Mhm.
actually bought a bunch at like kind of our lower levels. Is that kind of a strategy of yours or just you just want to accumulate? Did you do that on purpose or?
I just kept seeing good things coming from Ecomi. Participated in as many drops as possible. It gets kind of frustrating because you got to just keep loading up gems and are like, I'm spending all this money. Obviously, if I knew what I knew today, I would have picked up a bunch more. My first purchase was Rizzo, so the Batman Rizzo. At that time, I was like, man, this is $89. Why am I going to pay $89 for this? And I'm not a collector. But at that time, I remember Rizzo being available in the market or in the store for probably a little over a month, I think. And all of the original season ones were available. I could have had the Ghostbuster ones. I could have had Harley Quinn. There's just so many. But yeah, but I'm definitely catching up now. I'm trying to put more effort into buying collectibles.
So what's your collectible strategy? Because I'm kind of weak there. I'm trying to learn more about collectibles, but
Yeah.
what do you do? Or do you participate in every drop, or do you speculative buys?
Yeah. So what? I don't participate in every single drop.
Mhm.
I try to, but I just miss every now and then. One of my cousins who I got into Omi he's just really into collectibles and he knows a lot about them. He knows a lot about comics. And honestly, I just use his advice. Like, should I pick this up? Is this going to be a good comic? Um, he keeps track of the pricing, so he helps me out a lot as far as my strategy there.
Yeah.
And the $6.99 comics, it's just a no-brainer, right? I mean, if you
Yeah.
get lucky and you get a secret rare, I mean, that's ridiculous profits. So I don't see why. I mean, it's a good side hustle for people to do, because if you get lucky, you really could make a lot.
Yeah, I feel like comics are like the best possible and best, but like I miss a couple just like you. I get busy at work, but
Mhm.
like no matter what, if you get a comic at $6.99, it's not a big loss, and you're probably not going to lose any money. And it is kind of like a lottery ticket, because if you get a secret rare, you might be able to get $500 right off the bat. So it's
More.
better than a scratch off.
Yeah, yeah. So at this point, I have around 24 sets, and I think
Wow.
a little over 200 collectibles. So it's a decent one, but when you take a look at like Randy Chavez and the Todd Father, like you look at their stacks of collectibles, and it's just like it's daunting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's impressive, actually. So
What do you think about land? Have you heard the recent stuff about land? Is that kind of exciting for you?
it is. So I'm definitely planning to spend probably a good percentage of OMI on land. I have not participated in any other type of, land sales, virtual land sales, but obviously I believe in OMI. I believe in the VV verse. I think there is going to be a lot of opportunity with land, and I'm going to use my real estate skills to to decide what to buy, and probably put a decent percentage, maybe 15-20% in to pick up some land.
Yeah, I think the land is a no-brainer. It's almost like I feel like in terms of value, it's going to be like comics, where you can't go wrong buying land in the VV verse there. But how do you think they're going to do it? I know they've talked a little bit about make it equal. Maybe if you have collectibles, you get like an early invite.
Yeah,
Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't. I mean, it just from what I heard, I think Women of VV, when Dan was on there, he had mentioned trying to make it affordable. Um, to me, it sounds like maybe there's going to be kind of a drop situation for the land, and then from there, the prices are just going to go up. And with my luck with drops lately, it's I'll get a piece of oceanfront property like right in the center.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely due for an SR for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Land is exciting there. Are you excited about the VV verse in general, just from a personal perspective? Like,
I, I am. I wasn't as excited about it as of late. My cousins and I hear this on interviews all the time. They're like Ready Player One. I was like, I don't watch TV. I don't really watch movies for years, and I downloaded, or yeah, I subscribed to be able to watch Ready Player One. I watched it actually just last weekend, and it just makes so much sense. Like I see the connection, and it does make me more excited about it when I look at it from that angle.
what? When do you think we'll get something like that? What's your personal guts telling you?
Uh, I think it's hard to say, but I would say minimum 6 months. I don't even know when they're going to release it, but Dan did say they've been working on it for what, over a year now.
Yeah.
And I think he said it's going to come out in stages, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, 6 months to a year to see something that really blows the competition out of the water.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little disappointed because they advertised that we would get the VVverse this year, and they said that really early on, just a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's clearly going to be 6 to 9 months from now, sometime in the middle of like 2022.
Okay.
And that's kind of a little bit. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed with that, because I feel like I already thought it was going to be next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they release some stuff that says, okay, we're going to get it this year, and gets everyone excited. And then all of a sudden it's pushed back. I feel like they should have just said that, hey, coming soon, wait and
Yeah.
see or something.
Yeah.
But,
how much of that VVverse released by the end of the year? How much did that weigh into your 2 to 5 cent prediction?
I thought the VVverse was going to be a huge part of it. I really have to kind of revisit that. I really need to do another updated price prediction video, but I feel like we've been talking about the same things that are variables that are coming for so long, and none of it is actually, we're almost there, but it hasn't happened yet. You
Yeah.
know, it was supposed to be like August, I think, and then now it was like it's going to be in September, and now it's like October. So it's hard to say, but I feel like, and I've said this before, that if we don't hit 1 cent by the end of October, I don't personally see how we're going to hit 5 cents by the end of the year. I feel like it's crucial for us to get that 1 cent pretty soon, right? Because it takes a while for the price to get up there. You know, it goes in stages. It goes 20% up, 10% down,
Yeah.
30% up. You know, so I feel like we need to hit 1 cent pretty much this month,
Hmm.
hopefully by the end of the month before we even have a chance. And I'll have to redo things too. And I need to look at a 2022 price prediction as well. But
Yeah. I know. I watched a video. I guess this morning, Taps said he was going to be putting out a video with his price prediction. Um, so I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, I want
Um,
to hear his too. Did you hear his original price prediction, like one of his older videos?
I did not. Yeah, I want to go back and listen to it as well.
Yeah, it's one of his one of his early ones. And he's really smart, really articulate guy. But
Hmm.
you know, this is back in the day when things were like at 1 cent. And so their price predictions are really, really high in comparison. It was like, okay, we'll definitely hit, you know, like 4 cents here, 8 cents here, 12 cents by the end of the year. And I think it
Yeah.
might have been even a little higher. And of course it crashed and things happened. But I want to know what he thinks, because we talk on Telegram and stuff like that. And he's kind of private about that.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of curious as well to hear what he has to say.
Yeah. You know, with that said, with Omi specifically, I kind of have two separate bags. One that is, this is my set amount that I don't want to go below, and then I have a certain subset that I essentially swing trade, just because I'm so familiar with the coin that I feel like I can make some gains and essentially either pull out a little profit or increase the Omi bag. Um,
Tell us about your swing trade strategy.
so it's really around the news with VV. Like any dip that comes through, I'll pick up some, right? I'll pick up a few million here and there, and then when it spikes up, then I'll sell. I think the last time it hit 005, 006, I bought in at 002, I think, and then waited a few weeks and just sold some at the top, increased the Omi bag. What I've also been doing a lot of is essentially arbitrage trading, and that's what kind of got me. Omi is what got me into doing some arbitrage trading, just because of the inefficiencies in crypto with all these various exchanges. I literally had two windows up, one with Bitforex, another one with AscendX. I didn't really trade on Gate.io, but I'd have those two tabs open, and every time I see a difference in the price that's fairly significant, so easy to arbitrage because you've got coins on both exchanges, you've got money on both exchanges, transactions done in 30 seconds, and you just pulled, a good amount of money.
Yeah, that's a really great strategy. And the thing is, with GoChain, it's the fees to transfer is super cheap. I feel
Yep.
like if we're on ERC20, I mean, we're gonna have gas fees there. So I imagine that's going to be a closed off strategy, right? It's going to be too expensive to transfer back and forth. But that's smart. That's what the Wall Street firms use and do to make really easy money.
Yeah.
In a sense. So
Yeah, I mean specifically, if you have a lot of the coin and you have both, if you have both, and it's on an exchange, and you have both coins, or I guess coins on both exchanges, money on both exchanges, it's literally buy low, sell high, right? So obviously you have to look at liquidity, but in those times, for the most part, whenever Omi's pumping, one of those opportunities came up, I didn't have an issue, successfully doing an arbitrage.
yeah. So I'm kind of interested in swing trading as well. I have too much of a buy and hold mentality. Like I get busy and I feel like I can't keep up. Like I'm not really a trader by mentality. But take us through like a trade. Like what were you thinking? Like was it like when the Marvel news was officially announced? Like, hey, we officially have Marvel. I'm sure you. What did you buy a bunch or?
Yeah, it was right around that time. I think when that I don't remember the prices that were at that time, but anything like that, any big piece of news or any significant dip in OMI, I would just pick some up. It wasn't even really news related. Like, I know that a few weeks back when it touched 004, 005, and then it dropped, I just picked up some more at 0028, 003. I don't even know the numbers. Whenever I feel a significant pump up and then drop, because if you take a look at OMI over the past few months, I mean, there have been multiple occasions where it's just gone up a decent amount. And if you have enough OMI, then it's going to be worth it. If you're only going to buy a few 100,000 shares, it's probably not worth the risk of losing the amount that's in your bag. But if you have a separate amount that you're willing to, to potentially lose if it doesn't go back, then I think it's fine to do that.
If someone wanted to learn your strategy and they had, like, let's say a reasonable amount, like 1 million OMI that they want to swing trade, do you think that's sufficient to generate good profits?
I would say minimum 2 million, to kind of make it worth it. And then at that point, I'd have 2 million OMI on each exchange. I'd have money on each exchange, and then just watch it. OMI got me thinking about arbitrage. In my former life in IT, I knew some coders. And we put together our own little platform that essentially identifies the arbitrage opportunities for us, not just for OMI. So we're pulling in around 15 different exchanges at this point in time, and I basically pump notifications to myself through Telegram, where I'll see different arbitrage opportunities. It'll list out what's the coin, what exchange is it low, what exchange is it high, and then what's the percentage difference between the two coins. And then through that, it's kind of like a day trading strategy where it targets those arbitrage opportunities that I tried to jump on.
Oh, nice. So just to switch gears a little bit, I know some people in the comments have been asking about what you have in the back there. And I actually think that's really cool. And we've talked about a little bit about this, but
yeah,
tell us a little bit about that, what you told me about your little side gig here.
Yeah, so when I started the sign company, I had the CNC router, I had a laser engraver, had a wide format printer, just a bunch of sign company equipment. Then when we switched over to doing more automotive stuff, the equipment has really just been sitting here doing nothing. So for quite some time, I'd have another side hustle where I would use my laser engraver to do certain products that I would engrave and then I would sell. So this, let's see. So this is an example of one thing that I would do. It's like a Mother's Day cutting board, basically, and I would market it during Mother's Day. When I was still living in a residential area, I think we got in about 500 orders for these boards, and my next door neighbor wasn't happy with all the smoke coming out of my basement. So that's so it's stuff like this that I would do on the side and sell. So I actually stole this base from my son. It's he had like a little dinosaur thing, and I just was busy this week. I wasn't able to make my own base, so it's basically just an acrylic insert that I engraved the Komi logo on, and it essentially lights up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I've got Bitcoin.
Oh, that's cool too.
Engraved, yeah, and then like this one's, and I think there's a control here somewhere. Like this one,
ring.
Yeah, it'll turn red. It's more red in person. Kind of looks faded here. So I'm in the process of setting up another little side hustle where I'm going to focus on providing blockchain and crypto inspired products. Like the back of your wall, Dan, like you don't have anything Ecomi back there. There's nothing Bitcoin. And honestly, most YouTubers and most people online don't have it because there's not a single source for quality stuff like this. So I've got the capability. We used to do fairly high production stuff. I'm in the process of starting that now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like there might be one product out there that's like pretty cool and people buy that, and then they don't have like a store full of other high quality items, right? It's like hit or miss. And most stuff is like unfortunately crappy. I don't know if you've seen it, but
It's true. It's like the stuff that you would get like at those corporate like trade shows, like those little trinkets. So I told myself that if I'm going to do this, I want whatever product I put out there to be like high quality, right?
yeah.
I don't want to deal with the cheaper stuff. So like we made up a whole bunch of these actual hardwood bases that I'm working on like right now, routing out so that I can put a USB-C connector in there. So this will be the actual base for that LED, insert. And then it's just a nice quality piece, and it'll take maybe another week or so to get the prototype completely done. And then I'm planning in the process of building a website now, and I'm gonna start offering this stuff for sure.
Like your Omi logo is really cool there. The LED one. How much would you sell that for? What's a good price for that? Do you know?
Honestly, I haven't even researched to know what would be a good price point for it. I just need to figure out, how much time I need to put into making the blanks. Actual hardwood is not cheap, not easy to process. I'll probably do two options. One where I can purchase a bunch of pre-made bases, kind of like the one that's there, and then maybe a premium version with, some real hardwood that's been handcrafted and stained and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. So guys, let me know down in the comments here or just in the chat if you would potentially buy one, and let's just see how many people think that's cool, because I actually think that's really cool. I would honestly, if I saw that, I would just buy it. I don't know how much I'd pay for it. Maybe $30 to $50 I would definitely pay for sure. So
Yeah.
So while people are putting some comments down below, if people want to participate, what is your vision going forward in the future? Like what's like your 5-10 year outlook on your own personal life?
So it's all about time, time with family and friends, being able to do what you want on a daily basis. I've been fortunate enough to, to have some good positions in corporate America, which afforded me the ability to branch out and just do different things. I enjoy it. And I just want to continue to do things that kind of excite me. Like I love fabricating little stuff like this. If there's a business idea or venture that I want to go into, I want to be able to do it, and then really not have to worry about the money, right? To actually be kind of independently wealthy, be able to do what I want with my time. So that's just the goal.
Yeah, I think that's a good goal. I don't know if it's just like maybe our generation, but I feel like it's not that millennials are lazy. I don't even know how old you are, but just speaking for myself, then I feel like people my age, millennials, they don't want to do the same thing that their parents did, working for the man, like having 2 weeks of vacation a year, then you get to turn 65, you retire, then you get old and die. No one wants to do that anymore. They want to live now. But what advice would you give someone that wants to maybe work for themselves, or they want to kind of get away from that corporate lifestyle?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is to just take action, right? All of us have great ideas, but those great ideas aren't going to go anywhere unless you actually take some action. Take calculated risks. I mean, don't go out and spend $50,000 on a CNC router unless you just know that you're able to pay for that equipment with the work that's already in place. I see opportunities all the time, right? Just be on the lookout for opportunities. to this day, like if I see something priced low, I'm going to buy it and then sell it high, right? That's just how I'm wired. Dan, I got into this with you. I actually want to start a YouTube channel around side hustles, because when it comes down to it, I think that's one of the things I'm good at. Like I just constantly go around and I'm like, all right, there's money there. I enjoy the chase of trying to figure things out. So I would say the biggest thing is just take action, be smart about what you're risking, and maybe watch a little less Netflix, or playing, Candy Crush on your phone. I mean, I don't do any of that because my mind's constantly spinning. But if you're not willing to put in the work and to try things, then just stay in corporate, because sometimes, not sometimes, it is easier, in my opinion.
Yeah. What's a good side hustle for someone that, they have some high expenses, or they don't make enough at their job to maybe use that money to get more? I mean, what's something that someone can start right now to make a little bit of extra money without getting a second job?
So I would say the $6.99 comic drops on Vivi is something that's worth your time, because we all know within 1 or 2 seconds it's done, right? It doesn't take that much of your time, and you could get lucky. I mean, you're not going to get a comment like 19 times in a row like me, but that's one thing that you can do. I don't know, just look at what you're good at. Are you handy? Are you good with woodworking? You just gotta figure out what you're good at, and the opportunities will come. From a perspective of just quick money, like buying low, selling high. There was a time there was something on, this is pre-deal websites, where you would see deals on like Spoofy or Tech Bargains. There was a Sharper Image, those vanity mirrors, the ones that are like lit around the edge and are magnified. One of those was going for like $80, and Sharper Image was selling them for like $9.99 shipped. So I bought 100, and then I sold 100 very quickly to like a local beauty shop. So my wife was like, buy some more, and she gave me that inch. We had, I'm trying not to exaggerate, we had 3 UPS trucks pull into our driveway and just unload boxes for like, it was for quite some time. I remember our stairs going up to our, I guess it was the laundry room at that point in time. The amount of packing foam, like it filled like the first like 4 feet of my garage, my entire garage. So I could have jumped down. It was crazy. But anyways, so just opportunities to buy low and sell high. That's always something to look into.
Yeah, I have a friend actually. I guess she had a little side hustle where she would go to, I don't even know what the business model is, but she would basically go to different toy stores, and she would buy toys from like Walmart and stuff, Toys R Us, and then she would actually sell it on Amazon for more money. And you would think that a big company already has the lowest possible price. You can't even make any money on it, but there's actually, it's arbitrage like that with toys. And she actually has her own business now. She has like multiple people working for her, all in the course of like a couple of years, really. Just like a small side hustle turned into a job, or like a business, which I think is crazy. That's insane that people can do that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, real estate's been good, but it's hard to, as a part-time real estate person, make money, because a lot of people aren't going to trust you with, transaction. You're not really full-time. So that still works for me today. I'll do like maybe 3-4 transactions a year, just friends, sometimes family, and sometimes just a referral from just someone that I met, because I'm pretty heavily involved with the investment side of things here. So multifamilies, I really am familiar in my area how much they go for. what the opportunities are there. And then I can talk through what it's like to be a landlord for first time buyers of investment properties. So that helps out. So I haven't really, just trying to think of any other examples, but I can't come up with one right now.
Yeah. So what kind of car did you buy your wife? When you took some profit?
It was a Volvo XC90, the hybrid version.
Brand new?
Yeah, first brand new car. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So she loves it.
Yeah. So, but okay, let's see if we have any questions from people, guys. If you have any questions for him, we can maybe spend a few minutes answering some of that. So, guys, leave some comments down below there. I thought I saw something. Let's see. Do you think 1 million OMI is enough for the average person?
I think I think 5 million is a good number.
5 million.
Yeah, 5 million is a good number.
What's your rationale for that?
Again, it's just a feel. I just don't feel that 1 million, if you're gonna do the math and hold out for a dollar, it's going to be quite some time. But if you want some room to be able to take some profit along the way, then I think 5 million is a good number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, my original goal was to do 20 million because my most bearish price prediction is like basically 5 cents. And I think you would have $1 million with that if I did my math correctly. And then, no, yes. So 20 million, I think would be like,
yeah, you're right. That would be 1 million at 5 cents. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, okay. I always get that math wrong. So 20 million, you would get, if you were at 10 cents, like another bit kind of bearish number, you'd have like $2 million. So that was always my goal. Now I don't think it's possible for me personally. I mean, just with the amount of money I had, I wanted to get some in at 2,530, and the price kind of ran away from me. I don't think we're going back there. So, but that's fine. I think getting 10 million would be fine for me. So, let's see. There's a question here from Josie the American. I might have missed it, but did you say you owned a couple of income producing properties?
I did. I had several income producing properties. I have since sold all of them. On one of those sales, a large portion of that went to pick up some OMI.
Okay. Did you own it outright, or do you still have a mortgage on them?
I still had a mortgage on it. So our whole strategy when we bought these investment properties was to save up 6 months of rent, and we had a feel for what repairs would be, and then every single dollar that we were in profit, we would essentially throw it into the mortgage because we wanted to essentially pay them off. I think when you're buying multifamilies or multiple investment properties, you are either in the camp of I want to buy as many as possible and just leverage, or buy a handful and pay it off and let that be your retirement. So I was in the camp of buying, paying them off and then let them be my retirement. But then ultimately, great scenario to sell them. And honestly, just I can't imagine doing property management for the rest of my life. It's we did it for many years. I mean, it's stressful. It was definitely worth it. I wouldn't change a thing, but I think there are better opportunities out there than having to deal with investment real estate.
C-Spill says, do you recommend resident, probably like single family home or multi-resident unit?
So single family homes, I feel, will appreciate in general better than the multifamilies, because a lot of times the multifamilies are a bit aged, right? So the ones we owned were like 1983 to 1985, right? Was when they were built. If you could find a multifamily that is fairly new and doesn't require a lot of maintenance, then your appreciation per potential is fairly high with multifamilies. The benefit to multifamily is that you have multiple renters. So even if one unit is vacant and three are rented, then your mortgage is covered, right? With single families, if you out a renter, then you're out a renter and you have to pay that mortgage and you don't have any money coming in. An interesting, I guess, thing in this, at least in my area, I know a lot of investors that I'm friends with, they're buying single family townhomes and homes because Apple is going to be coming into this area and doing corporate rents. So corporate rental, I don't know, it's something I might consider in the future. It seems like a big corporation is going to be paying your rent and there'll be a premium. So that might be an option, but we'll have to see what OMI does.
That's a better quality tenant too.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like the tenant can make or break you. I mean, I wouldn't say I had a bad tenant, but a very needy tenant, and it's just every other month a call for something stupid. You send someone out there for $100 and then it's nothing. It's like it's awful.
Yeah, it's the selection process of your tenant is fairly important. And you just there's only so much you can do as far as selection, because if the person is able to financially rent your property, you can't really just say no to them, right? If you're properly leasing, if you're properly leasing properties out. So but over time we managed to get some good long-term tenants. I think our longest term tenant in one of our properties was 12 years.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So where that breaks down is you get to know the person and then you feel bad about raising rents on them, which you should be doing every single year, right? You should be keeping up with what the average rental is in your area. And we weren't great about increasing rents on majority of our properties. And that was another reason for wanting to exit too.
Let's take one last question here. OMI related. Jose the
Sure.
American says, what's your first profit taking level for OMI? I guess going forward, since we
Going forward, I think I'm going to pull some out once it hits 2 cents. Yeah. Okay. Pull some out once it hit 2 cents. And, if it dips again, I might pick that back up and hold the profit out. So, but 2 cents is my first mark.
Okay. What are you going to do with that money? Just rotate it into something else, or?
Yeah, it depends on how crypto is at that time, but probably, other various projects. So I definitely have not been good about keeping money on the side for opportunities. So that's something I'm trying to improve.
Gotcha. Okay. So I know you have your business coming up. When do you think you'll launch your first product?
So I probably got another week on the website, and then I want to launch 3 products at once. So I'm thinking 2 to 3 weeks. I'll have the site fully functional, be able to hopefully take crypto payments. And then the nice thing about crypto is it's fairly easy to, I think, market it. Telegram groups, communities are great. So I'm going to push for 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. All right. And definitely when you have that store up, just let me know and I'll just plug it on my Twitter and videos as well, because I think that'd be pretty cool to see actually. So okay.
Yeah, and another thing is I'd like other ideas, right? So I have a lot of fabrication capability within my shop. If there's any ideas that anyone has for products, just let me know. Maybe it's something that I can make happen.
Sure. Okay. Well, Glenn, it was great to have you. I appreciate you coming on the show. Do you have any last minute thoughts you want to give out to the viewers here?
Just realize what a golden opportunity OMI is for us to all be in this early. And I definitely think we're still early. It's going to be exciting next couple of months. And, tell your friends and family, because that helps Omi, and I think it'll help them as well.
Sure. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. That's all we have today. I'll have this recorded too, so you can kind of come back to it and watch it later. So appreciate you guys, and we'll see you all in the next one.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks.